I believe that Congress has appropriated no more than about 18% at this particular point for that program.
At 18% at a high end, it's more like 10 to 12%.
Yeah, I think in 2025 it was I'm just checking my numbers now, it was about 10.7%.
So help me understand, we're going to cut thousands of people who help provide these services but don't get paid enough, and there are not enough of them. And we give more control to local government, but how do they have control when they never got the resources that they needed? I've had superintendents tell me that we've put more money into schools in California over the years. They could take all of that money and put it in special education. It still wouldn't be enough to make up for the lack of investment from the federal government based on a bill that was signed by a Republican president.
Well, but that's not from the Department of Education. That's the appropriation coming from Congress. So I think that's up to you, sir.
Where does that money go to? And the Department of Education is a key part of giving them the best practices so they can understand how to serve the people at the local level. It's fine to say we were going to give it back to local control, which I completely agree with. It's fine to say it's going to go back to the states, but they have to have the resources under a federal statute to perform the requirements under the federal statute, which I assume, given your background and working with special ed kids, you want them to get that. We know we all benefit from having special ed kids get the support. And specifically, does the department intend eliminating, you talked about parent involvement, the congressionally mandated parent training and information centers? Are you going to continue to support those, and who's going to support those?
Well, sir, as I said, the IDEA funding is level funded. There have been no cuts in that. It's going directly as it has before, so without changes from us.
You know, having run businesses, I think we're just having a communication problem. How can you say your level of funding, but you're cutting staff and sending it back to local government without the funding? Seems like a contradiction to me, with all due respect.
Wait, I don't know
Madam
what
Secretary.
you mean. I don't know what you mean by I'm cutting staff relative to states and how they are handling IDEA funding and how they are taking those dollars into their schools. The staff that we've cut, you know, at Department of Education, let me just reiterate what I said before. We are totally in compliance with all of our statutory obligations.
Oh, I'm told I have extra time because they messed up a clock. I'm sure it's a plot, Mr. Chairman, but I would love to continue the conversation. We clearly don't understand one another, and maybe I'm responsible for part of that. I don't understand, as a former business owner, how you can eliminate the Department of Education, or attempt to. Judge says you're not. You cannot do that. By the way, you're going to comply with what the judge has ordered.
I will, but let me remind you that IDEA was in existence before the Department of Education. I believe it started in 1965 and was distributed to the states, and I think it would continue to be distributed if there was no Department of Education.
I would respectfully disagree. You have to have people with expertise in order to implement the law. And I know, at least in the case that I've spent a lot of time with special ed kids and their families, they rely on the best practices supplied at a national level so that they can perform at a local level.
Well, they came from somewhere before the Department of Education, so those people are.
Ma'am, that's the reason we started the program, is because they were suffering and failing.
I think now the gentleman's time has finally expired. We've got it back on track, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen. Now I yield to the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, for your work on behalf of all the parents and children of this country. I've been very impressed with your work. You know, during my time in Congress, I've been a staunch advocate for school choice. Every child and every family is unique in their own way, and when it comes to learning, it's no different. In fact, in every public school that my children have attended, my wife and I have gotten very involved in that process, and it makes a difference with the parents getting involved. We've seen an explosion of interest in school choice, and as I'm sure you know, even in the last few months, states such as Tennessee, South Carolina, Idaho, Wyoming, and Texas are considering implementing school choice legislation. However, all these success stories, many states refuse to even consider school choice. Many states seem insistent on trapping kids in failing schools. In a country where school choice has already been implemented in many areas with great success, including the 12th District of Georgia, why do so many states refuse to even consider choice?
Well, I think you'd have to ask the governors and the superintendents of education in those particular states.